Hello and welcome to another episode of the Viral Culture Podcast, the show where we explore and celebrate other people's cultures. Today I am with Rafal. Rafal, thanks for joining us today. Could you let us know a little bit about where you're at today and what's going on in your life?
I'm Rafal. Hello, everyone. I am currently a CNA and a sophomore at MACC, going through my RN program.
Nice.
I'm 20 years old, and I'm from Iraq.
Nice. What's your last name?
Ali.
Rafal Ali.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So you want to be a CNA?
No, I want to be a nurse.
A nurse.
But right now I'm a nurse assistant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, I don't know all the terminology that's specific to like the degrees, and people know that. So what made you want to do that? Do you know, is that just something you always wanted to do, or?
It's something I wanted to do ever since I was a kid, because my dad's been working in the hospital ever since he was 16 years old, like in Iraq and throughout, like in Jordan. When we moved to Jordan, he worked in a hospital, and when we're here right now, he's working in a hospital.
So he's a nurse?
He's an LPN.
What? Okay, you're gonna. What is that? What is that?
He's not a nurse assistant, but he can pass meds, but he's not a nurse. He can like give meds out to patients and stuff like that, but he's not a nurse.
So what's like abbreviation? Do you know what that stands for? Like LPN?
No, I got it.
No, that's okay. I was just curious myself there. So I talked a little bit about that. Like your dad was an LPN, and he did that in Iraq. You said you moved to Jordan. Is that?
Yeah, because we couldn't come from Iraq to America because of the immigration system, and I don't know how that exactly worked. So we had to go to Jordan for a few years and work it out in Jordan, and then come here.
Where is Jordan?
It's close to Iraq by. Yeah, I just know it's close to Iraq.
It's in. I feel like I've heard of it.
It's in the Middle East.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's always like a generalization. When people say like Middle East, I don't know like which. It's like saying. I feel like it's like
It's
saying,
really, really close to Iraq.
Okay, all right. So, talk to a little bit about that. So, is it just you and your dad, or?
No, it's right now it's my mom, my dad, and my two younger brothers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And when did you guys move over here?
2009. Yeah.
9 years so far, right? You've been here for 9 years.
10? I thought it was 10.
Almost
Oh,
10.
maybe.
Oh yeah. Well, what prompted the move over here? Just like.
Well, it was when my dad was in Iraq. He was kind of helping out with the American military when they were in Iraq, and people found out, and they were very mad and pissed, and they started threatening us, and they said if we don't stop, then they're gonna kill our family. So we had to.
It's a pretty valid reason too. That's good on your dad though.
So,
like, dude, he's still trying to like.
Yeah, we had to.
He's doing good in the world. You know.
We literally came to to Jordan like the next day. Like we didn't even pack our stuff. We had to do it.
From hearing that, you moved the next day.
Yeah.
That makes sense to move that quickly, because you just never know. Like you could wait too long and then like a day. That's crazy though. That's insane. How old were you when that happened then?
I was, I believe 5 or 6.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So did you know what was going on?
I had a good memory, yeah, because I mean the way they sent us the message was pretty straightforward.
Is it okay to ask like how they did it? Like, was it?
Yeah. So our apartment, we used to be right in front of a police station, literally across the street is a police station where my uncle works as a policeman over there. And in the middle of the night, he would come over, my mom would make him some tea and just food to eat before he goes back to his shift. And in the middle of the night, well, that one night he came, we thought it was him, and I just opened the door, and it was him, and he had like 2 men on each side, like he was in the middle, and with the gun pointed to his head.
At your uncle's head?
Yeah, I was like,
oh
but
my gosh.
Thankfully they didn't shoot him. They just kind of hit him in the head, but it was like blood everywhere. But we got the message. I was like, yep, that's it. Bye.
Wow. What about your uncle? Like, is he still over there? Or?
He's still over there.
Wow.
Yeah, he's still over there.
That's crazy. Oh, okay.
He's still a policeman too.
Oh, well, at least he's still safe. That's the main part. That's the most important part. So, so what time did you get here? Because that happened when you were 5, and then you were in Jordan for how long?
Yeah, I think I was 8 or 9.
You got here at 8:09.
No. You mean like literally the time I came to America, or?
So I'm sure.
I was like 8 or 9 years old when I got here to America.
Okay, so you were 5 when the initial story happened.
Yeah.
And then the next day you were in Jordan. Right?
Yeah.
And then how long were you in Jordan?
2 years.
2 years. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Just like working on paperwork and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah. Because it was through the military base. That's how we got here.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty fast. Like the paperwork and stuff was pretty fast.
But 2 years is still like.
I mean, for.
Yeah.
Like my aunt did it, and she had to wait for like 6 years for her paperwork to go through and stuff like that. And my cousins too. They had to wait. We were the first family to immigrate here to America.
And were they immigrating for the same reasons, or is it just like
no? They I don't know what the reasons were or how.
What their reason?
Yeah.
So okay, I'm just trying to get a time.
Yeah.
So 5 years old, you see someone holding a gun to your uncle's head.
Yeah.
Then a day later, you're in Jordan. In 2 years, in that 2 years, were you like going to school or anything?
I couldn't go to school because my paperworks were in Iraq, and I couldn't go back to get them. So I was just free.
Kind of just hanging out.
Yeah.
And were your 2 brothers around
No,
at that time, or were they only when you were here?
My younger brother was one of them is born here, the 8-year-old, and the 16 was he was with me in Jordan.
But he was much younger than you?
He was very, very young.
You're still like a baby.
I don't remember, but he was like really, really young. He doesn't remember any of it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Though. Like, I mean, that you remembering it, that would be kind of. Yeah, that's crazy. But so then you guys came across here. What do you remember like about kind of like the process of coming across here? Do you
like to America or Jordan?
I guess both. Like, let's start with Jordan. Like, what do you remember with that journey of just like kind of packing up and going?
I remember it was very, very fast. Like, it happened all fast. Like, it just opened our eyes and closed our eyes and like, hey, we're in a different country. Like, even though the language was very, very similar, like, the accent was different. Some of the cultural aspects was different. So we kind of had to get used to that. And it was very hard finding places to live and, like, finding a job in Jordan because I don't think they liked Iraqi people. They were very racist and mean.
To each I don't
know what the history is between Iraq and Jordan, but
there's some form of conflict.
Yeah, there's something going on. They didn't like us.
Oh wow.
So that made it really difficult finding trying to survive for 2 years, but.
So when you say you went through like the military thing, were you guys living on a military base, or were you just kind of in Jordan, but your paperwork was going to the military?
No. It was like the paperwork was like going through with the military, like through the military.
Okay.
We weren't living in the military base. I don't know. They didn't allow that to happen for some reason. I don't know what was going on. So they kind of just help us with transporting from Iraq to Jordan and stuff like that. Yeah. And
so you guys were there for 2 years and they wouldn't let you get jobs and stuff. Which is crazy.
Yeah, it was. So there's this. I don't know if you know about the Sunni and Shia thing that's going on.
No,
okay.
You can fill me in.
They're like different groups of Muslim people. Like there's a Sunni group of people who.
The what? The Sunni.
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 Yeah, and there's Shia. It's like black and white, but they have the similar religion. Mm-hmm. Just like few things are different.
Okay.
So my mom was a Shia and my dad was a Sunni. And in Jordan, most people are Sunni. And my mom was Shia. So my mom couldn't help my dad work at all. And they were being very, I guess.
So were people kind of against
Shia people?
The marriage in general? Because you're not.
No. Not with my mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
They were okay with it. They didn't like us being there because we were Shia, I guess.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But
it's so crazy. I mean, there's so much conflict going around in the world. Is that still going on today?
Yes, it is. I mean, that's mostly what the reason. Yeah.
The reason everything's kind of shambles.
Just people not agreeing with other people.
So the kind of a sidetrack now.
Yeah,
with the war and I guess the war and conflict basically that's going on in that the whole Middle East in general. It's religion based.
Yeah. Well, that's from what I thought it was.
Oh, just so people just not agreeing on religion.
Yeah.
What is different? Do you know what's different from each side?
I really don't know since I'm not there.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, from the way I see it, there's really not much difference between my mom and dad. Like,
Mm-hmm.
maybe they've been together for a really long time, kind of just, mixed together or something. But I don't see a difference, like, for me. So I don't know what they're fighting about.
Yeah. So I guess you said your mom was Sunni?
No, my dad was
dad
Sunni.
was
My
Sunni?
mom is Shia.
Shia. Okay, so were so you didn't like notice any differences in like?
I mean, I know few, like, the prayer, my dad prays with his hands on his stomach, my mom prays, but she doesn't do that anymore, but she prays with her hand just on her sides.
Oh,
That's
so
the difference between a Sunni and a Shia.
So it's
But
like those minor differences?
That's just one example, but I'm pretty sure that's not what they're fighting about.
Oh, yeah.
I hope that's not what they're fighting about.
If that's pretty crazy if that's what they're fighting about. That would be, oh my gosh. I was just curious on like what some of the differences were.
But that's the difference I know.
That you know.
Yeah.
That's cool too. So, okay, now, so we just left Jordan. Well, we are in Jordan now.
Yeah.
And then in that 2-year period, like what were you guys doing? Just trying to get your dad?
Trying to stay alive, basically.
So your mom was the only one who could work, is what you said?
My mom couldn't work. Like, she had one job, but they were being very mean to her and basically bullying her, so she couldn't take it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So she quit. And my dad was working, like, 4 jobs at that time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do you remember, like, what he was doing? Like, just, like, odd jobs kind of?
I know he worked in a company, mostly, like, cleaning and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually the only job I remember he was doing.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
and he worked in a gas station.
Nice. So it's crazy. Like, you just got to make it work. Like, at the end of the day, like, it's like, whatever you got to do to survive and keep your family safe kind of thing. And then, so, once that paperwork is done, now you guys are coming over here.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Do you remember anything about that period there?
Yeah. Well, I remember how my dad was very happy. I remember like how we were very excited that we were coming here, that we're finally gonna live a good life and stuff like that.
A safe life too, like away from people just threatening you, kind of.
Yeah.
So were you here? Was it on like a refugee kind of transfer? Or
It was with a group of other people who are. I think they were all Iraqi people who are coming here.
So you came as a one big
group?
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. So you did that populace is kind of like in Colombia then, or what?
No, they went everywhere. Like I know one of the people are in Texas. One of the groups that we like.
Living with.
Yeah, he's my dad's friend. He's in Texas right now. That's the only guy I know.
And was that like your first time on a plane as well?
Yeah, that was. I don't remember it, but. I just remember being very excited.
Yeah, you were really young as well, and that's a lot to take in at that age as well, like, kind of fleeing all that stuff. So, you arrived here in Colombia, then, do you remember, like, were you set up in an apartment? Like, what was...
Oh, okay, it's different when we didn't come straight to Colombia, we came in Waynesville.
Waynesville?
Yeah, Missouri. It's like 3 hours away from here.
Oh,
but
okay.
It's really close to the military base.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that's the guy that helped us. He lives over there in the military base.
Oh, nice. So you were working like with one specific person, kind of?
Yeah. He's the one that helped us with the paperwork and everything. So.
And you guys, are you still in contact with him?
Yeah, we are.
Nice. That's cool, though. So, okay, just keep going with this. Just walk me through from what happened from there to there.
So we came here, and he I don't know, I'm pretty sure it was the refugee camp it was the refugee office, helped us for 6 months to get our life together here in Missouri and stuff like that. And they told us if we passed, they told my dad if he passed his driving test, then he could get a free car.
What?
Yeah. So he got a car the first. He tried so hard, like day and night. He didn't know, like his English was not good. Mm-hmm. But it was like he can understand you, but he can't really reply back to you in like full sentences. And then he studied very hard, like day and night for like 3 weeks until he passed the because we really needed the car so we can work. Yeah. And then my mom and dad both found jobs and worked at McDonald's for a year, and then.
You got a free car. That's kind of that's pretty sweet. I mean, it's like one way to like motivate, because that's something necessary too. Like if you kind of need that to get like to and from, because doing like public transportation costs money as like.
I remember my dad telling us from Waynesville to Columbia we had to pay $300 for a taxi.
Yeah, see that's
so it was
not
just like a whole entire paycheck.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like that's not like a car gas is gonna be what $40. Yeah, so it's not like that bad at all. But that's actually really cool that they set you guys up with like a car and stuff.
Yeah, it was very nice.
I wonder if that was maybe because that guy hooked you guys up, that he knew you guys, maybe. But I don't know. That's cool if they do that for everyone. that's
was
awesome.
very nice of them.
And then so when he got the job, that's like what you said 2009. You guys are here.
Yeah.
So
I think he got it like a year later.
The car.
The car.
Nice.
Yeah, and the job.
And then, so at that point, are you enrolled into school?
Yes, I was. It was my first American school. And
How was your English?
I didn't speak anything. Like
Any English
not even one word.
Wow.
Not even one word, and that was very hard. And I remember, it was very easy for my brother.
Because he was younger.
Yeah, and he picked it up a lot faster. I mean, me and him, we picked it up pretty fast, but he was faster. But I remember, especially me, being very depressed and lonely because I didn't have any friends. And I stood out in my group a lot because of my scarf and how I looked. And they were mostly white kids in my school. So it was very hard to get used to. And
also, it was also weird for you because, I mean, you hadn't been around like...
Yeah, for in school for a while. Yeah. But I really liked school, so I didn't mind being in school. So I was very excited on school, but that part, like the language and the friends and stuff like that, was very hard.
And adjusting.
Yeah.
How long would you say like it took you to kind of... Because you were what, like, by that time you're 9, right?
Yeah.
And it's coming in, and that's like 3rd grade?
Yeah, I was 3rd, yeah.
So, were people like very helpful like that throughout that whole like process and stuff? Were teachers like, you know?
The teachers were. I don't know about the students.
Yeah, because at that age, kids are really involved in there.
Yeah.
Kids are kind of, you know, they can be what they are.
Yeah.
But did you have to take like classes after stuff, like after school and stuff?
I didn't. No, my whole. Like, I didn't take any regular class. Like, I wasn't a regular student. I was just there to learn English.
Okay.
That's how it was.
That's kind of a good idea, though, because then you can adapt all the other stuff.
So I was like a full-time English learner, something like that. That's how it was. I don't remember it.
And how long did that take? How long did it take?
It took a year.
And you were good? Like,
yeah, I was good after that.
What?
Because I tested out, so...
Damn, you learned fluent English in a year. English is, you know, that's one of the things.
I didn't think I was fluent, but they thought I was, like, because of the test or whatever. I didn't think I was. I was like, I think I need more help. And I still do. Like, till this day, I still do.
And we're all learning. It's one of those things you just keep learning. So with the test you had to take, was it, like, written and then, like, speaking?
It was speaking, written, and reading.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was, like, all...
That kind of covers it all, though. If you can pass that, I think you can... At that age, you know, it's not like you're expected to do much more.
Yeah.
So, and then what happened after that? Did you go into like regular school?
Yeah, I went through normal school, but the only class I was good at, it was math, because I didn't need like English to do math. So
yeah,
that's the only class I was good at.
And when would you say like you kind of finally got into like the flow of, you know, you kind of assimilated and you were like used to the flow of school and you were able to communicate confidently enough?
It wasn't till I came here to America. I mean, Colombia, sorry. Sorry. I was like, wait, I'm already in America. Yeah, to Colombia, because there is a lot more, like, diversity here, and I found a lot of groups that are the same.
Similar. So people understood you were able to relate to people.
And I didn't have to speak English all the time, and I didn't have to speak Arabic all the time either. But like they could understand me, and I could understand them. So that made it a lot easier, and I was more confident in what I was doing. So I wasn't the only one that's not good at English and was still trying to learn and stuff like that. So
there were other like Iraq people who just spoke the same languages.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, Colombia's kind of melting pot.
Yeah.
Like for a lot of.
I know, that's why I'm never leaving Colombia.
Yeah, well, I don't know about you not leaving Colombia. I'm gonna get out at some point, but not today. I do like the fact that it's very like mixed and like there's a good variety of people. Usually more when school is in.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that's one of the things I do like about living here in Colombia. That there's such like a diverse population. Like you don't feel like you stand out that much as you would in definitely in other parts of the country and in the world obviously as well like that. And then so is that where you met Van Lau and all those? Oh, I guess Hillary.
Yeah, Hillary and
we Van Lau on the podcast because that's what she was known as. And Macy as well.
Yeah, well, I didn't meet Macy till like maybe 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I met Van Lau in junior high.
Oh, nice.
And I met Azoda in freshman year of high school.
And that's Afifa's sister?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. You see, it's a little, you got your own little network.
Yeah.
That's one of the things too, like, international people tend to just kind of gravitate towards each other because, like you were saying, like, you know you're all different, so you kind of just rely on that. Yeah. That's a good basis to, like, start any conversation, like, hey, where you from? I'm from here. Cool, let's just hang out together for a while. And then, so... That's at that point. Where were you at now? You moved to Colombia. When was that? Bless you. She's got allergies, guys. It's okay.
I think my friends know.
So you were taking your classes you took English classes in Waynesville.
Yeah.
And then you came across to Colombia.
Yeah.
What time? What's the timeline between that? Like, when did you get to Colombia?
5 years ago.
So, I don't know, do my 2013?
Yes, I think yes.
And then okay, cool. So like how old were you then? Like that's like high school? Junior high then?
It was it was like elementary was hold on.
The education system.
No, 8th grade just now ended.
Okay.
Like I enrolled for 1 month and then school ended.
What?
Yeah, I was telling my dad, like, do I have to go? Like, school's gonna end in a month. Like, do I have to be? And he's like, yeah, you have to, or something like that. I don't know why, but I ended up enrolling in West. I don't know, not West. I don't remember what.
Like a school that's like
here.
I don't know what this. The education system here can get a little confusing because of like junior high.
It changed too, so we don't have a junior high anymore.
What's the difference between junior high and middle school?
Like
I don't know. I will never know. Like there's just too many little. I'm just like just go to primary school and then go to high school and it's done. That's what I do.
That's how it is in my country. So.
Yeah, that's how it is for me too. And I'm like all these other little things in the middle. I'm not sure how that works, but okay, that's cool. So we then talk. What happened in that time then from like then to now? Like what? At this point, when did you like decide to be a nurse? Because I mean, you're only good at math at that point. Like what's?
I think probably in 8th grade.
8th grade, then you were like, I want to...
Yeah, we were in health class.
Because I'd imagine you have to know how to, like, read pretty well to, get through something like
that.
I mean,
I wanted to be a nurse way before me knowing, like, I need to learn English and stuff like that.
Okay.
I've always wanted to be in a healthcare, like, helping out people and stuff like that. I've always wanted to do that. Like, I didn't care if I knew English or not. I just knew I wanted to be a nurse.
That's really cool. So, okay, now I'm going to just delve a little bit into your family. Like, what is sort of, like, the family dynamic like? I don't know if it's, like, anything different, like, culturally, like, for you guys. I don't know, like, if it's a like, like, the old way, like, let's say the dad works and, like, mom is at home or something like that. Like, what is...
At first... My dad was the one that worked, and he had 2 jobs. Mm-hmm. And my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and we just went to school.
Which is also a job, by the way. Like, that's not even like
it's a very hard job.
Yeah, like, when you need to, people usually think about that, and they, like, don't take it seriously, but I'm like, honestly, if you have to hang around with, like, someone younger than you, and you're told to, like, watch after them, you realize how much you really have to pay attention to them all day. Otherwise, it's like, know. So that's also a full-time job. Not knocking anything about that. Like, so your dad was working 2 jobs. Where was he working?
At the hospital.
Oh, okay.
He was a CNA before being an LPN.
So did he, Does that stuff just like transfer across? Because you said that's what he did.
Nothing. No, it didn't transfer. He had to learn and had to go to school for it.
He had to go to school again?
Yeah. He went to, because nothing transfers from Iraq or the Middle East or anything to America. So you can't transfer anything to America.
Yeah, meaning I honestly didn't transfer anything either when I came here. So he went to college again? Like when he came here?
Yeah. He went to Columbia College.
And then he was also like working?
Yeah, he was working as a housekeeping at the hospital, and that's how he got like connections and stuff like that. So once he got certified to be an LPN, he just automatically like transferred.
That's great.
Yeah.
I always, most people I've talked to, like when you're hearing about like what their parents have done to get them to this stage, it's always like I always put myself in the shoes. I'm like, I honestly don't know if I would have been able to do that.
I honestly can't do that.
Yeah.
I was like,
you're in school.
I mean, I'm very proud of I always talk about how hardworking my dad is and how hard he worked to get us here and stuff like that. And I was like, I can never do that.
That's the crazy, because
it's so crazy. Like,
we've grown up in we feed off of that. We've been lucky that we didn't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
So we've grown up in a certain level of comfort to where we aren't exposed to that kind of risk or anything like that. Because starting from just like the beginning of your story to like him leaving that and now having to go back to college and then like working at the same time, and now you're going to be a CNA. So it's just like, it's a lot, like to where like parents don't get enough credit. It makes me flash back to like anytime I ever did anything negative towards my parents. I'm like, man, I'm the worst. Like,
that's exactly me.
After all that, and I still did this, but no, we're okay. Kid, you have to go through those type of things. But shout out to all the hardworking parents, because that, especially like particularly, I'm not just picking out here, but particularly immigrant parents, like that is the changes and the choices you have to make.
Very hardworking.
And the choice, like to just uproot everything and just come here.
Yeah.
They had their life, like they had their whole life there, and then you kind of just have to leave it. It's kind of a hard thing, and like that takes a lot to do. So your dad went to college, and at that time, that's when your mom was at staying home.
Yeah.
Instead of helping you.
And then we bought a house, and my dad just couldn't do it by himself. Like couldn't pay the bills by himself. So my mom decided to get a job.
That's good though.
She works at the same hospital as my dad.
Oh, nice. Networking though, that's how you get jobs. You have to know people these days. It's not like your qualifications can look great, but then like one person can know someone and walk in and be like, hey, I like this guy better, or, So, but that's cool though that they're both working, And at that point, you were full on in high school.
Yeah, I was a high school student.
And then your brother was
middle, maybe.
And then your third brother. I'm trying to figure out when your third brother came into the picture.
Okay, my third brother came in 2000 and a year after we came to, maybe 2 years after we came to America.
Okay, it's like 2011-ish.
Yeah.
So
no,
okay, that makes
10,
sense.
10.
2010.
He was born in 2010.
Okay.
So a year.
So that makes sense in that your mom was at home because there was a baby.
Yeah.
That's not like So.
And there's this thing like. I don't know if it's Arab thing or like a Iraqi thing, but like when you're pregnant, you don't do anything. You have to basically sit still, like till you deliver the baby. Like literally, you can't clean, you can't cook. You just have to.
For 9 months, you just sit there.
Yeah, you just not do anything.
Can you like watch TV or something?
Yeah. I mean, you can, but you have to rest. That's what I meant. Like you have to rest all day long.
No form of physical labor in any way. Like,
no, it's not good.
That's kind of cool, I guess. To an extent, I feel like it would get annoying as like not.
No, I was really surprised when like, for example, like here, like my teacher, like her belly would be like all the way in, and she's like teaching. I was like, how do you do that? Like you're pregnant, shouldn't you be at home? So I was very surprised, and I don't know if American people are very hardworking or they have to get the money, so they can't take a day off or a month.
Is it like a religious thing or just like a cultural thing?
No, I think it's a cultural thing.
That you just kind of.
It has nothing to do with religion. I don't think so.
You
just have to rest when you're pregnant.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is the bills thing.
I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense for me. I don't know.
Kind of like everyone's situation is different in the sense like if you have bills to pay. And also like I worked with a girl because I used to work at the casino in Boonville, and like she was pregnant and she worked until. About her 18. I mean, honestly, I think she worked until she ended up leaving the position, but that was when she had like a month left until she was.
I had a coworker who decided to leave like a day before her due date. Like,
Yeah,
she's like, okay, I'm due tomorrow, so I won't come in for a while. I was like, what?
That would be weird if you used to like seeing everyone like
Yeah.
resting and stuff. But I think you can still.
It's
I don't
not
know. I have
healthy,
no
though.
idea. I can't speak for this. I'm not trying to speak for women or something. But I don't know. I don't know if you. It's to each their own. I'm not gonna like get into that one and get in trouble. But a lot of people I've seen do work, and I think maybe it's just a cultural thing.
Yeah.
Everyone's situation is different. You might have to pay bills. Because living, it's getting more and more expensive to live anywhere.
That's
it's
true.
cheap to live in Colombia, but like, I imagine everywhere else is just kind of crazy. And cheap means something to everyone else too. Like cheap for one person is not for another. So, I mean, it's with relativity to other states, it's definitely lower than different places. But that's cool. And then, so your mom, what does she do in the hospital? Like,
She's a cook.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she cooks over there.
Does she like just do like recipes from back home as well, and stuff like
No,
that? Or
not.
does she just have
I
to-
mean, for her coworkers and like supervisors, they have like parties and stuff like that. She would cook Middle Eastern food, but not for their patients.
So
I mean, they did. So like, there's a cafe like upstairs in the University Hospital called the Essentials, and for like visitors and doctors and stuff like that, they did ask her to cook, but like, it was like too much responsibility that she didn't want to have to deal with.
Yeah.
So it was like paperwork and stuff like that. And her English isn't that good. She cooks very little, but she's like, yeah, I don't feel comfortable doing that.
Are your parents like better at English now, or is it kind of like
my
still
mom
the same?
is really good, but she doesn't believe it. She like understands and she talks, but she always says, no, I'm not good. Like, come with me and translate. My dad is really good. He's been good. He spoke English way before we did, but we're better now.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things that I feel like language is harder to pick up the older you get.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like you just know you take in so much more.
Yeah.
The older you get, so like as a kid, when you think about it, like learning to speak and like you take class. If you took like Spanish or something when you were 6, you would probably be fluent in Spanish
Yeah.
right now. But now trying to take it when you're
High
like
school.
it's impossible, or not impossible, but like it's really hard to keep in.
But yeah.
Retain. So that's why I was curious about your parents, because I'm like, at the point that they were when they got here, it makes sense that it's like harder to learn that because you've been speaking, something else at a different point. So that's good though. Like, hospitals, I'd imagine, have pretty like long hours and like unpredictable hours at times. What was that like? Did that ever have a situation to where you guys were just chilling at home by yourself and you had to like kind of take care of your little brothers and?
Yeah, when my dad was going to school and trying to work, he would like work overnights at the hospital and go to school in the morning. So we basically don't see him for like
The whole time he was in school.
Yeah.
That's kudos to your dad. Like, how do you go to work all night and then like do your
I
homework?
tried to do that because I thought I could too. So like freshman year of college, I worked full time, 40 hours a week from, was it 11 till 7, I think. And yeah, and then I would go to class at like 7:30. That did not work.
Yeah,
that did not. I was failing.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
was failing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it takes a special kind of person. Like, we shouldn't overlook like what they went through and stuff like that. I kind of did the same thing where I was working full time and I was also taking classes, and I was always mad and like always like it's so frustrating. So I'm like, man, I'm working.
Coffee didn't work at all.
Yeah, it's just like I have no free time like to do anything. Anytime I look, I'm like, maybe I could do this. I'm like, but I gotta turn that in, or something like that. But now imagine trying to like raise a family and like pay your bills or stuff like that.
I don't know how you did that.
Yeah. Okay. What about? So how is your relationship with your brothers? Like, what's that kind of? Are you kind of like, since they're younger than you, are you like protective, kind of thing? Like, how does that work?
Let's see. How should I say? I'm very protective to that younger one, the 8-year-old. I'm very protective. Like I want to help him like with school, like all the time and stuff like that, and I don't want him to be like on his PlayStation like 24/7 and stuff like that. I'm very protective, and my parents say like it's too much. Like I should let them take care of it because I'm really, really protective. The 16 years old, I don't know. He's it's too wild for me. I can't control that kid.
16 is like where you kind of do your thing. Like it's just that's the rebellious.
Like
phase.
not even my parents can control him. So like if my parents can't, I can't either.
At that age, you make a lot of mistakes, and you learn.
I mean, when I was his age, I kind of was crazy too. Mm-hmm. I wasn't that crazy, so I was like, maybe if he turns 18 or 19, he'll cool down or something.
Probably not. But
I know for boys is different. So.
Yeah, it's weird. It's true. It sucks, but it is different. Like it's different for everyone, I guess. But that's great. So, I guess like what is your how was life in school? Like in high school, like what did you do? Like aside from class, like did you do stuff like outside, like sports or clubs or?
I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
My parents did not allow me at all to do any sports.
What?
Yeah, because I was a girl. Yeah, they didn't allow me to do anything. I couldn't stay after school. Like even if I needed help, like on a homework or a test or thing like that, they would be really, really pissed if I stayed after school.
So what do you mean because you're a girl? Like, what is that?
That's just the answer I used to like when I say I want to try it for soccer or I want to try it for volleyball. I was like, no, you can't. You're a girl. Like, what would your uncle say in Iraq or something like that? I was like, they're in Iraq. Like, what are they gonna say?
Yeah, that's curious.
I couldn't. And I blame them for me being unfit right now. Because of them. I was like, see?
I should have been out there. So to this day, like they wouldn't if you wanted to do like.
Now it's very different. Mm-hmm. I think my parents changed when I was a junior in high school.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, I decided to take my scarf off too. So.
Oh.
I took it off for 2 years, I think. Yeah, for 2 years. So, but when I promised myself that when I enter college, I'll put it back on. So when I did start college, I had it back on.
So what is?
But those 2 years, they didn't really. I wouldn't say they didn't care what we did, mm-hmm. but like they weren't as strict as they were. Like I would go out, have fun with my friends, and yeah, stuff like that.
Was it just like sort of a phase for you to figure it out for yourself?
Yeah, I think. Well, for me, it was a phase that I just wanted to explore. I mm-hmm. guess just wanted to like, what is outside of like my religion or like my culture, like what is on the outside. Like I just want to know what's going on with my friends and stuff like that.
And that's I think that makes a lot of sense because you know you grew up with one whole thing and like your whole culture been the same, but then like you're in a place where there's so many.
Yeah, I just felt like I just wanted to fit in. Like
mm-hmm.
I just wanted to be the same as everyone. So
how were those 2 years like? And were the things that you were like, I should maybe go back to, put my scarf back on, or were the things where you're like, I feel completely fine, like it doesn't make
No, I regret everything.
Those 2 years?
Those 2 years, I regret it. I feel like I wasted 2 years of my life.
Really?
Yeah, because I started, like, I had this scarf on since I was in 3rd grade. And I don't know, it's a big thing. Like, for me, it's like keeping it on for a certain period of time is like a big thing. Like, oh, you've had the hijab on for like 13 years. Wow, that's so cool and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, I had the scarf on for a year now because I took it off. So it doesn't count. Like, I broke the record kind of thing. So I was like, I mean the streak, not record.
But like, do you think though that it was important for you to do that so you would realize why it's important to you?
I mean, okay, yes, that's where I regret the stuff I did, mm-hmm. but I don't regret taking it off.
Oh, okay.
Because, like, after I took it off, like, I'm even closer to my religion, to my culture, to my, like, identity, I guess. So I'm even closer than I was before.
Okay, so you're saying, like, post that, like, now when you reflect back, you're like, I'm closer because of those things that happened.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering, because I'm like, that type of closure I think helps a lot in like thinking and stuff like that because you always wonder like what if I had just done that or like that, but like if you just like experience it and allow yourself to make mistakes, I think it's a growth process as well. Like you never have to look back again because you're like, I did that, I don't need to worry about that, it's not important to me anymore.
Right.
So I think that's really cool though, that you did for 2 years and your parents like didn't say anything.
I mean, it took them a year to
be cool with it.
Yeah, to be cool, like to actually convince them for me to take it off. I was like, no, I told them like, okay, so when you wear a scarf, you have to be like dressed modest. Like you can't show any skin, you can't show your legs or arms or anything like that. Only your hands and your feet. I guess sometimes some people are not okay with it. So my dad was like, okay, first it's gonna start with your hair, and then it's gonna start with your arm, and then it's gonna start with your leg. I know you're not taking it off. I was like, no, Dad, I promise. Promise is not gonna happen. Well, it did happen.
Oh, it did? Oh, man.
It did. But I feel like some of the stuff they don't know, so let's keep it that way.
Well, they will after they listen to this.
I won't show it to them.
No, but even then, I think like learning process is like still very valid. Like you're saying now, you look back and you realize the importance of it. You know, it made you stronger in your faith now than you were.
I mean, yeah.
At that stage, because we all have that rebellious phase when we just like our mind is just you're taking in so much information, especially in high school. Everyone's personality is all over the place. You know, there's so much happening, and you know, I still think that's really cool though that they let you do that. I feel like, you know, most people wouldn't allow you to do that or something like that with a faith of that. So, your parents, like, I feel like, do you think? You saying like, you know, they're cool with you doing sports now and stuff like that. Would you say because you're here, the rules are slightly relaxed, I guess, as opposed to if you were in Iraq? Or is it still kind of just still the same kind of?
I think it's a lot more relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's because my parents been here for a while. Like, they have American friends. Like, they see it's a normal thing to, like, it's just sports. Like, what are they gonna do playing sports? Like, so they're just cool with it now after, like, seeing examples. And they saw, like, I have a Muslim friend who plays basketball, and she's a girl.
Oh, nice.
So after, like, they saw other people, they were like, oh, maybe it is a normal thing to do. Maybe we should let her do that or that. But they didn't. It was too late. I already graduated.
That's cool. Like, I think that kind of stuff, like for your brothers and stuff, I guess it doesn't matter because
he's a guy.
Yeah, it would be different because it's a guy. That's crazy. So I have a question that's probably completely ignorant. Like, is Iraq kind of the same, I think, as India, where like women couldn't drive and stuff like that?
No.
Totally
I think that's in
just
Saudi
India?
Arabia.
I didn't know which country it was. I just kind of spitballed India.
That's okay.
I don't know.
I think, I believe my aunt, she was in Iraq and she drove, like, she had her car. But it's not common.
So are they, like, very gender-specific roles and things that you can and cannot do? Like, you're saying, like, women, like, you weren't allowed to play sport because you were a girl. Like, do you know any other, like, gender-specific things that were kind of, like, you can't do that because you're
jobs? Like, you can't get a job if you're a woman in Iraq.
Any job?
No, now it's different. Like, my aunt literally has her own business in Iraq right now.
But at the time when you were there?
Yeah, at the time.
So what were you supposed to do? Just stay at home?
Stay at home. Like, a lot of women just work at home. Like, their husbands wouldn't allow them to step, like, one step outside the house.
Wow. That's crazy. Was that like, kind of an adjustment? Like, I guess when you were here, so did that play a part, if you know anything? Like, in your mom staying at home at the beginning? Or was that solely for, like raising...
I don't know, like, till this day, like, when my uncles calls from Iraq and stuff, like my mom's brother, they was like, oh, so you work now and stuff like that. Like, I guess they make fun of her. I don't know if it's making fun of her, but stuff like that. I was like, oh, like, your dad or your husband is making you work and stuff like that. I was like, just how we make a living. Like, this is literally. I'm pretty sure if they come here, they would have to do that too. But
yeah, it's one of those things that, as well, like, people, I've been in that position as well, where you're like in another country and you look here, like, if you have relatives who live in another country while you're still like in the home country, you assume you're living in glamorous. Yeah, like, you're living the most glamorous life.
They literally call you like every month. Hey, can you send us like $500?
It's like from where?
I want $500.
It's one of those weird things that it's just a perception thing and like lack of education as well, like where you really don't know until you've been here that you have to work and like money is not just because I'm here doesn't mean I'm making millions, like just swimming in money for no reason. But it's funny because my friend Rafal, who I spoke to like last week, was saying the same thing. Like people assume that they're just.
His name is Rafal too?
I mean, my bad. Radia. My bad.
I was so confused.
No. Radia. My bad.
Okay.
My bad. It was Ari. It was like it just mixed in my brain.
Radia.
Yeah, Radia.
I think, she's my friend too. Yeah, she's my friend too.
Radia was out last week. Yeah.
I saw her.
And she was telling me about the same thing where people like back home for her in Tunisia like assume the same thing, like they're just gonna have like a lot of money, like you guys are rich now, you're in the US. Like, no, it's not really how it is. I still have to work. I gotta pay bills and stuff like that. But that's an interesting perspective.
I mean, it makes me feel really bad. Like, I wish I can help them, but
no, you will get there. I mean, once you like, it's not like you're not gonna get there ever. It'll be once you like start working, you'll be able to make time. It's just like it takes time to get there. People kind of assume that as soon as you're here, you're good.
Yeah.
But once you're working and like in the flow of it, it's all about saving money. Everyone,
True.
It's all about one of those things. We're all fake it till you make it until you get there, and then you'll be like, fine. But I was just curious about the gender role thing. I don't know if you had any other things, like women, you said they can't work, and like, is there anything else, like, really?
Not that I think of.
Yeah, sorry. I was just curious, because I was like, when I heard about things like in Saudi Arabia, women can't drive, I was like, that's so bizarre. Like,
that is very bizarre.
Yeah,
like, what?
What is so specific about driving?
Well, even like after they allowed it, like the men are being so rude and mean to the women while driving. Like, I've seen like very horrible videos, like yelling at them and stuff like this. Like, they're just driving a car. Like,
and what's so gender specific
what is
about that?
so like? I don't understand why it bothers them. They're in a car, just let them go. Yeah,
like I don't understand like what the issue is. I guess that's what I was trying to wrap my head around, like how that's an issue of gender. Like what's that specific? Okay, so can you talk a little bit about like maybe some culture shock moments that you had or things you remember that were a little weird to you, like to adjust to, aside from the pregnancy. I know you mentioned the pregnancy thing. That was a little odd.
There's a lot of trees here. Trees. It's not what I saw on movies.
What is it? So
like in Iraq, when you see New York, Hollywood, and stuff like that, or Miami, Florida,
like big cities.
Big cities. And when we first came, I was like, are we sure we're in the right country? Like, I just see trees.
I feel you
what
there.
is this?
Yep. So this is kind of dumb, but I'm gonna say it anyway. But so in high school, we used to do, I don't know, you're probably familiar with the show, but Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
So I used to watch I still do, not even gonna lie, no shame. But I used to watch it so religiously. Like I was like, man, I know I'm gonna be the U.S. in a year. This is what I'm gonna be like. It's gonna be like this everywhere. And then as soon as I got here and I was driving around, I was like, what is where's the beaches? And
I know.
So it was such a weird thing. Like that's another thing about like perception. Like I played into it as well, to where I wasn't educating myself about where I was going. I kind of just went with what I saw on TV and thought about that, which is, it was backwards with kind of like what I'm trying to do now, like make other people aware of like what other countries are like. But I did the exact same thing coming here. I was like, where's the gym? Where's the beaches? I want to go, to the beach, stuff like that. But it's cool. Have you like visited other places though while you've been here, or have you?
Not a lot though, because we work all the time.
Yeah. Which place have you been?
St. Louis, Florida. Because we went to Disneyland. That's fun.
I'm jealous. I want to be there. I've never gone.
That was really fun. Michigan. Because there's a lot of other Iraqis over there. Nice. It's basically like Iraq over there.
It's weird how there's like sections where there's a lot of like one type of people.
In like states.
Yeah.
Like literally, I feel like all Iraqi people are there.
I don't remember where Van Now said they go. Bless you.
Sorry.
You're good. I don't know where Van Now said she goes, where there's
Indiana.
like India. Yeah. So it's like there's Burmese people in Indiana. There's like Iraqi people in. It's so weird how there's just little pockets of people, but I think it's good. Like I'm all for diversity. I don't know why people would be against it, but that's another topic which we're not going to touch on. What about what would you say is like one of the important things you've learned? Like let's say someone from Iraq was listening to this back in Iraq somehow. I don't know if that's gonna happen. I'm not that popular, but what's like something you would say is you wish someone had told you while you were like coming here, like to be
that not all. I'm sorry. I don't want to sound really racist.
No,
but cool. Not all black people are gangsters.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine.
I blame the media for this. I swear. Like the news is. Oh my god. Yeah.
And movies, like news and movies, basically all the, everything you see on the news. If you're looking from the outside, looking in, you assume.
I literally feared my life.
Are you serious? Oh my gosh.
It was like the total opposite. I wish I can tell them that white people.
It's everyone, really. We're not picking. It's like,
I'm not picking side, but just hint.
Yeah, it's one of those like everything's not what it seems like. What you see on TV, basically, like do your research and like look into what it is like for real and like what people are like. That's funny. Is like oh, black people are gangster. Oh my gosh. Unfortunately, the media does portray,
They're always either like in a gang or drug dealers.
In movies, like anytime you see them, it's like they're I agree with that. I get like people always it's kind of the same when people look at Africa, like they think about us, they're like people ask me questions like, do you live in a hut and stuff like that, and I'm like, are you serious right now? Like what are you thinking? So it happens on both ways. It's not like you should feel bad about it. It's one of those things where we've all been there. We've all made assumptions, and we've all. So anyone listening in Iraq, I'm not a gangster. I'm African, so I guess I wouldn't really.
It doesn't count.
What about you? Like, what are stereotypes I guess you faced, or people have asked like dumb questions or stereotypes that you've come across?
If I was a terrorist, that was very common.
Because you came in 2009, yes. So it was still kind of like close to the whole everyone just being hostile.
And I had to deal with this. Like I feel like every time we had to not celebrate 9/11, but like talk about 9/11 and stuff like that. That was very like my dad did not want me to go to school during that time.
Yeah, because that would be a very, like especially like in today's culture where there's just so many crazy crimes going on, like people just picking up guns and just blasting a bunch of people. And I would think that would be the safe bet, and that's why I'm just curious, like how people would perceive, because like people misunderstand. I learned a lot of this from Radia as well, like last week, where she was saying the importance of like her hijab to her. It's like a celebration and like a security in her own faith, and I'm pretty sure like you share the kind of similar values, but to other people, because like you're saying with the media, like you were saying with the example of like gangster, all you see when you see like portrayal like that is purely something like terrorist oriented, something like that. But that's not the case. Like that's like 2%, or not even that, like 0.5.
But I feel like, you don't see like Muslim girls like blowing up stuff. Like I don't know why they still come at us.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
People just generalize. That's the other thing. Like you assume like, oh, you still have the same skin tone as that person. You think you're the exact same ideals.
So you're just like that person.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate that people think that way. But, things like, I'm hoping that this podcast can change people's minds and people will be like, maybe I shouldn't look at people that way, hopefully. Probably not, but we can only do our part. We've all done our stuff. We all got to do our part. Is there anything else, like, you've had to deal with, like, I guess, like, some dumb questions or something?
I feel like most of the questions I get is about my religion, not, like, where I'm from.
Do people understand like the hijab? If you had to explain like your hijab,
I've had to explain it so many times. Like I have to explain it to the same person like probably 5 times. Every time. Why do you wear this? Or like, do you take this off at home?
Yeah.
Can your dad see your hair? Can you show me a picture?
Stuff like that. Is that like can you keep pictures of you with that?
Yeah, we all have pictures. Like when we go to parties, like women's parties and stuff like that. We don't keep them on if it's just women's.
But like, so when you take a picture out of that situation, can you then show it to other people?
No, you can't. You can show it to other girlfriends, but you can't show it to guys.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Basically, it's the same thing as like me taking it off right now.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking. Because I was like, it's still kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
If it's the picture, it's still the same purpose. That's curious though. Do people ask? I think radio was one of the things. She was telling me like people like, do you shower with it on?
Oh yeah, those questions make us laugh.
Yeah. I sometimes play into dumb questions and I'm like, no, I don't at all. I gotta.
But I used to get really mad when they ask a lot of questions, but I feel like now, like I guess I'm more grown. Like I understand why people I would rather answer your question other than you coming up with a question that is not even close to why we wear it and then just start spreading rumors or something like that. Like, I'd rather just sit down and explain it as many times as you want until you actually understand.
Yeah.
Like, what our religion is and why do we do this, why do we do that.
That's really cool, because I'm also, like, learning myself. Like, I took, like, the derogatory, like, religion class and stuff like that, but I can't say I remember much from it as much of college class. You take a lot of, like, random classes that are core, you know, you just kind of take it, but I'm always, like, curious to, like, understand, like, what it means to other people, you know, like, you have to respect it, too, like, you know, it's, like, to respect it, I feel like you have to understand it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I feel like, don't make that effort to understand it, then that way they don't respect it, you know, so it's, like, goes hand in hand. Just before we before we close, like, is there, like, shout outs, like, you know, people you want to thank, you know, people who should hear their name, that way they have more incentive to listen to the podcast. Okay, I mentioned you.
Shout out to Azota
Azota
for, I guess, letting me know about this podcast. I had fun. It was a pretty nice experience. Shout out to Van Lal, and shout out to my parents.
Nice, that's awesome. Thank you for being on the podcast. And shout out to Azota. I've never even met her. Everyone I've talked to has mentioned her, but I don't know who she is. I only know people. I know Vanna, I know Macy, and I know you now. And
shout out to Macy.
Oh yeah, Macy. I forgot.
She's gonna be mad.
Yeah, she's gonna be mad. I'm an afterthought. But yeah. Well, I'm glad that people are spreading the word, and I hope, like, if you know anyone else who you think could be on it, I'm actually running out of people to interview, so I need more people to talk to. And if you're listening and you're in the Columbia area right now, I'm just sticking to Columbia right now, so I finished school, and you want to be on the show, you want to share your story, I feel like don't hesitate to reach out. I'm not gonna, you know, like, shun anyone. I'm interested to hear everyone's story. Everyone has a story. Even if you're, like, raised here completely, but your parents, you know, are foreign, you know, that still makes a difference too. You have your own, pretty sure, interesting things to tell me. But yeah, that's how we're gonna wrap up. Thanks for listening in, and thanks again to Rafal for being on the show, and hope you guys enjoyed the show.
Thank you.